Now let's return at last to the Precure franchise with two Precure series that I'm actually familiar with. The first being Kira Kira Precure a la mode.
This Precure series centers around Ichika Izumi, a second-year middle schooler who loves sweets and wishes to work in a passerie, but struggles to make anything good. One day, she encounters a fairy named Picolen, who is able to detect Kila Kila, an element residing in sweets that represent the feelings put into them. However, evil fairies start to steal the Kiri Kiri for themselves, leaving the sweets black and lifeless. Determined to protect the sweet, Ichika gains the power of the legendary Pastrita and transforms into Pretty Cure Whip to protect the Kira Kira.
My god, do I love the plots to children's magical girl anime.
Joined by 5 other Pretty Cures, Ichika opens up the mobile sweet shop Kira Kira Pastole and spends her days making sweets while fighting against those who seek to steal the Kira Kira and bring misfortune to the world.
2 of these pretty cures are high schoolers Yukari Kotozume and Akari Kenjo, aka Cure Macaron and Cure Chocolate, respectively, who, as the series goes on, start from being clashing personalities to close friends to being in a loving and caring relationship by the end.
First things first. Yes, Akira and Yukari are definitely inspired by Haruka and Michiru. One is more tomboyish and masculine, while the other one has great grace and femininity. They have similar character designs and personalities, especially with Akira in particular. It also helps that Akira and Yukari are based off of the characters that actresses would perform in the Terunozuka revenue. Akira is meant to represent the Otokoyaku character, women who play male parts, while Yukari is meant to represent the Musumiyaku characters, women who play female parts. Besides the school uniform and her magical girl outfit, Akari strictly presents and expresses herself more masculinely than the other girls in the anime. Also, Ichika learning that Akira is actually a girl and not a boy that she was crushing on is almost the exact same way that the inner sensei learned that Haruka is actually a girl too.
It's heavy inspiration, but hey, at least they're being inspired by the best. So let's actually get into the ins and outs of Akari and Yukari's relationship.
Being the last 2 main pretty cures introduced in the show, unlike the other girls who go to middle school, these 2 are older and go to high school. Their personalities initially clash, with Yukari criticizing Akira's selflessness and Akira being at odds with Yukari's fickle nature. But after Akira witnesses Yukari's kindness and Yukari recognizes Akira's passion and tenacity, they become very close friends. After this, they are always seen spending time together as they grow closer and closer until they eventually become romantic partners. Some small stuff like in episode 16 when Yukari's grandmother invites her friends over to watch Yukari make tea, Yukari has Akira wear a hagata, an outfit reserved for boys, because Yukari thought that it suited Akira's personality more. Later on in the episode, when Yukari has an angsty moment, it's Akira who approaches her and tries to talk to her about it. There's even a love duet in the first vocal album of the show that stars Akira and Yukari.
The song is called Macronage of Love and Excitement, which is all about Akira trying to get Yukari to open up, as well as them singing to each other the reason why each other protects the other. With Akira's reason being that she loves Yukari, her words in the song being, "I love you, therefore I'll accept anything." Though this doesn't come near the time when Akira and Yukari's relationship becomes basically confirmed in episode 25.
A foreign prince thinks that Akira is Yukari's boyfriend, leading the 2 of them holding challenges to compete for Yukari's affection. The other girls don't even try to break it to the foreign prince that Akira is actually a girl. Later in the climax of the episode, Yukari opens up and reveals her insecurities to Akira, and Akira outright says that she loves Yukari when she's getting beat up by a villain, that she'll protect Yukari as much as she can, even if it's at the cost of her own life. At the end of the episode, Yukari asks Akira to dance, as they dance around the courtyard looking into each other's eyes romantically, the rest of the girls saying that they look like the perfect couple. From this point on, the 2 of them are rarely seen without the other, their body language and dialogue always showing that the 2 of them are in a relationship, or should I say, as much as they could show in a children's anime. Even their attacks started to be team-up attacks against the villain of the week.
Hell, even after this Precure series ended, later in 2018, the 2 twin sisters who write the Precure manga for each series posted this picture of a June bride meeting her groom. The 2 characters kinda look familiar now, don't they? Starting with Kira Kira and going into Hogato, this was the true start of seeing explicit queer representation in the Precure franchise. Akira and Yukari, influenced by Haruka no Michiru, are 2 characters who slowly grow closer and form a relationship as the anime goes on. They strive to protect each other no matter what. They're opposites but also complement each other, and after episode 25, one is almost never seen without the other. Again, these two are shown to be in a loving relationship with as much as they could do in a children's magical girl series. They are two queer girls whose love makes them stronger, makes them kinder, and makes them the best version of themselves. Let's return our attention to Cutie Honey one more time with Cutie Honey Universe. The worst version of Cutie Honey, and is an anime that is just straight up bad and outdated.
Truthfully, it's the most faithful adaptation to the original manga, but that's not exactly a good thing. Say what you want about Go Nagi's influential manga, but a lot of his works are really outdated in some places, and this reflects in the Cutie Honey universe. Instead of updating and improving the original manga like Cutie Honey did, it feels like an older anime in all the wrong places. It didn't update the story to make it new and unique like Devilman Crybaby did earlier that year, which caused longtime Cutie Honey fans to be disappointed. But anyway, the queer representation in this version. Cutie Honey Universe essentially had the same queer representation as the original manga did. Honey gains the affection of her classmates, both male and female. Sister Jill uses women who fawn over her to turn them into the monster of the week. And Natsuko's one-sided love is the exact same as it unfortunately usually is. The only new improvement, at least to my knowledge, is Naoko, the leader of an all-girls delinquent gang. She finds herself crushing on Honey as well, which allows Honey to escape from the gang's aggressive antics. But it's just subtext.
In the end, Cutie Honey Universe is a really bad and outdated anime, and this reflects in its queer representation as well. It was a huge disappointment for both old and new fans of Cutie Honey alike. One of my favorite anime of last year was Revue Starlight. It was essentially a combination of idol anime and Revolutionary Guard Utena, which is funny because the man who directed this, Tomohiro Furukawa, worked under Kunihiko Ikuhara when he created Utena. And this influence is seen in Furukawa's style in Revue Starlight, one of the reasons that I love this so much. And the other reason was some of its queer representation, so let's get into that.
Revue Starlight takes place at Saisho Music Academy and focuses on the 99th graduating class, who are rehearsing for the annual production of the theatrical play Starlight. Behind the scenes though, an underground audition, orchestrated by a talking giraffe,
because of course it is,
pits the students against each other in staged battles in order to shine as the top star. Whoever wins the auditions at the end can become the lead in Starlight. One of the classmates, Karen, is reunited with her childhood friend Hikari and comes across these auditions. She decides to battle in these auditions in order to become the top star alongside Hikari.
One of the fun things about Revue Starlight is that, with the exception of Mahiru, all of the girls are paired off with another girl, and this pairing might vary in whether they are romantic together or just really close friends. So let's go in and look at each of these pairings, including Mahiru, of course.
Our two main leads are Karen and Hikari, who were childhood friends who promised to become the top star together. These exchanges are full of romantic beats. It's a childhood promise, reuniting after losing contact for years, they still wear their old hair clips, and each have a desire to protect the other no matter what. All that good, cute Yuri stuff. At the end of the anime, it's Karen and Hikari who play the two leads in Starlight, and the characters in this play are framed as romantic lovers. Their story parallels heavily with Karen and Hikari's story throughout the anime. Not to mention that the entire events of episode 4 can be read as Hikari playing Hard to Get, concluding on a date at the aquarium, which is in a lot of Yuri stuff apparently.
Moving on to Mahiru and her crush on Karen.
Mahiru is the most explicit queer character of all the girls, and is the one with the unrequited love. She always smiles when looking at Karen, gets distressed when other girls get close to her, especially when Hikari moves in, and wants to do the role of the fated couple in the play with her. Karen is the one who inspires Mahiru and gives her the courage to perform well on stage. Episode 3 in particular drops all of the pretense for Mahiru's love for Karen. Karuko invites Mahiru into the bath with her and interrogates her on her attraction to Karen, while also pointing out the romantic and sexual connotations of the current situation. Episode 5 is Mahiru's central episode, and it features Karen and Mahiru having to engage in an audition battle. The song sung by Mahiru is called The Revue of Jealousy, and is used by Mahiru to express her frustration at Hikari coming in and stealing Karen away from her. At the end though, Mahiru learns to give up on Karen. She can still love her and take care of her, but she better understands the love that Karen and Hikari share towards each other, still swearing to be Karen's best friend forever.
Moving on to my two favorite characters of the anime, Maya and Claudine.
The two of them are bitter rivals, each one always trying to one-up the other in order to gain the position of the top star. They are the best and second best students of their class respectively, and they played the role of the fated couple when the class performed Starlight in the previous year. One interesting dynamic about the relationship and rivalry between Maya and Claudine is Claudine's jealousy over Maya being more masculine than her. One of Revue Starlight's main influences, much like Revolutionary Girl Utena and other characters that I've talked about before in this video, is the Terunozuka Revue. Maya and Claudine are meant to represent the Otokoyaku and Muzumiyaku characters, respectively.
And as I mentioned before, Otokoyaku characters are the male parts, while Muzumiyaku characters are the female parts. So it's a position that Claudine will never be able to play. She'll always be the Muzumiyaku character, being the second main character. This jealousy adds an interesting and complex dynamic to their relationship and rivalry.
Episode 10 is their central episode and shows the most subtext between the two without flat out saying that they're a couple. The two talk about how meaningful their first meeting was, and how both of them inspired the other to be better. Claudine says that her meeting Maya helped her grow to become a better performer, engaging in intimate stretching while doing this. In their duet duel against Karen and Hikari, the two grab each other in blatant romantic positions, saying that there is nobody else with whom they could work together so perfectly besides each other. And when they lose the duel, Claudine starts to cry, blaming herself that she can't believe that Maya lost. Maya comforts her, telling her that they can keep striving to be better together from now on. They address each other as my Maya and my Claudine.
Next is the tomboyish Futaba and the feminine Karuko.
The two of them are always together, and unlike in the other pairings, these two were already close before the start of the series. They are seen in affectionate positions, like Futaba drying Karuko's hair after bathing, or Karuko always lying on Futaba's lap. She also tends to cling onto Futaba rather intimately when she's drowsy, which unfortunately for Futaba is almost all the time. The two have a very early establishment of a relationship that in the prequel manga, with each chapter focusing on each girl, the chapters for Futaba and Karuko are titled Our First Time Living Together and Our First Fight. The plots of these chapters is something that you could easily find in a romantic comedy. In episode 3, Futaba states that Karuko is special to her, and in the bathtub scene that I mentioned before with Mahiru and Karuko, Karuko compares Mahiru's feelings for Karin to her and Futaba's relationship. In their central episode, episode 6, Karuko decides to quit the school and return to Kyoko after a fight between her and Futaba, Futaba having to race to the train station to talk her out of leaving. And by the end of the episode, they are able to reconcile their relationship on stage.
And lastly is Nana and Juna, who I believe to be just close friends, but there are a few subtle hints about a possible relationship.
Like how Nana gets jealous whenever someone other than her calls Juna Junjun, often calling Juna her Juna. Speaking of Juna, it's only her that is able to get Nana to stop the endless time loop of the class performing Starlight in their first year over and over again, eventually allowing the class to perform the play in their second year and break the cycle.
So as we've seen, the pairing of girls in Revue Starlight range from actual love like Mahiru's love for Karin to probably just a very close friendship like Nana and Juna's. The only problem that I have with this Yuri's subtlety, except for Mahiru's love for Karin, is that it is just only really subtle. You look at Kunihiko Ikaharu's work like Revolutionary Girl Utena and Yuri Kuma Arashi, and it is Yuri as far as the eye can see. So many queer elements and characters in these animes, and representation that is explicit.
In Revue Starlight, besides Mahiru, it's all just really subtle about their relationships. Nothing is flat out said. It's all inferred through context clues and visual storytelling, and I might have a theory about that. Revue Starlight is a multimedia series, so not only was there an anime series, there were several manga, song albums, plays, and also an idol group starring the characters. And for idol groups, especially those that are geared towards a male audience, the idol needs to not be in a relationship in any way. This allows the male audience to imagine themselves dating the idol. Pretty fucked up, but that's unfortunately how the Japanese idol industry mostly works from the best way that I can explain it.
So all the girls, besides again Mahiru, having only subtle relationships, it leaves room open for this with the male audience pertaining to the idol group. I may just be reading too much into it, but it is a theory that I have. Whether or not that's true though, Revue Starlight is an anime that has varying degrees of romance with its pairing of girls. Just know that it is mostly only shown through context clues and visual storytelling. Nothing is ever made super explicit. Except for Mahiru, of course. My beautiful, beautiful lesbian daughter. And the last anime we're going to talk about is the most recent Precure series, Hokuto Precure.
This Precure series stars 13-year-old Hana Nono, a girl who aspires to be seen as mature, who begins middle school when she encounters a strange baby named Hugtan, and a hamster-like fairy named Heri Han Heri.
Because of course it is.
who had appeared out of the sky. But amidst the encounter, Hana learned that they were pursued by the Kulisu Corporation, an evil organization from the future who wants Hugtan's Mirai Crystal and alter the present to suit their needs.
Seriously, children magical girl plots are just the best.
Hana's desire to protect Huntan causes her to gain her own Mirai Crystal, which transforms her into the Precure of high spirits, Cure Yell. Together with girls Saya, Homore, Emeru, and a reformed android Ruru, they form the Hugoto Pure Cure team in hopes of protecting everyone's future.
One of the supporting characters, Henry Wakamaya, is a male crossdresser who by the end of the series becomes the first ever magical boy of the Pure Cure franchise. Pure Infinity.
Henry is Homore's childhood friend, them being skating partners when they were younger. He also happens to be half French and half Japanese. He eventually transfers into the academy that our main character attends, and almost from the get-go, we see that the school uniform that he wears has been modified to look more feminine. He dresses and expresses himself more femininely, while all of the boys tease him for it, but the girls love him for it. His first central episode after his introduction is episode 19, where Henry asks Emeru and Ruru to be a part of the fashion show that he is participating in. The fashion show's theme centers around the concept of girls becoming heroes too. Emeru's older brother, Masato, discourages her for a more tomboyish personality. Masato also has a habit of bullying Henry for his more feminine expression and personality. While Nana would like to yell at Masato for doing this, Henry simply says that it's not worth it, saying that it's pointless to argue with someone who is unwilling to allow someone to be who they truly are. At the practice for the fashion show, Masato confronts Emery about being in the fashion show. Henry appears wearing a white and elegant dress. This angers Masato, thinking that Henry looks ridiculous. Henry proclaims that it doesn't matter what his gender is. He enjoys cross-dressing and he doesn't care what anyone thinks about it. Later on, when Masato is turned into the Monster of the Week by the villains, he takes Henry hostage. After the girls transform into their Pure Cure forms, Henry jokes that he's been put in the position of the princess in the end. Hana replies that doesn't matter, because boys can become princesses too. After defeating the monster and restoring Masato to normal, their fashion show goes on without a hitch, and Masato apologizes for everything that he said. Though he doesn't remember what happened, he says that it was like a dream, and a beautiful one at that.
One of my favorite developments that happened after this episode is that Masato and Henry actually become close friends.
They start hanging out together a lot. Masato protects Henry from his massive and insane female fanbase, and Masato is always worried about Henry's safety, especially when Henry gets an injury of some kind. This is one of my favorite tropes in media, a bully character learning the error of his ways and doing everything he can in the future to protect his new friend from anything that might harm him.
I freaking love their friendship. Now let's fast forward to episode 42, the Pure Cure episode that would go down in history.
Having gotten in a car accident, Henry's foot is seriously damaged, and Henry is fearful that his ice skating career might be over forever, even with the encouraging words of his two closest friends, Homore and Masato. This causes Henry to fall into despair, which the villains use to create the Monster of the Week. But after being cheered on and comforted by his friends and seeing how his despair is affecting his fans, he is able to break free of his despair, and along with the power of our heroes, Henry is able to turn into a magical boy, Cure Infinity, and helps the girls defeat the monster.
What's great about Henry's transformation into a magical boy is that it's played completely straight, and the transformation is treated like the girls' transformation. It isn't played for laughs or parody like in Magical Girl Ore or Cute High Earth Defense Club Love, and it isn't the case of the boy literally getting a female body in transformation, like in Magical Girl Racing Project. It's just a pure magical boy form and nothing else.
And Cure Infinity's outfit perfectly envelops Henry's personality and expression, being both feminine and flamboyant. With the monster defeated, Henry does transform back, but gains the courage to face the future and whatever may happen to it. But don't despair, for we do see Cure Infinity one more time before the series ends. In the final battle against the main antagonist, the Pure Cure girls call in everyone's help to give them enough energy to defeat the bad guy. This causes everyone to turn into Pure Cure. Henry turns into Cure Infinity again, and even Masato gets a Pure Cure form. They all shout, "We are Pure Cure. We can be who we want to be." This connecting with this Pure Cure series' main goal in teaching the children watching that you can be anything that you want to be. Henry's entire character is another big step in Pure Cure being a very progressive Magical Girl series for young kids. Mostly because I can see a lot of young boys in Japan watching Magical Girl anime like Sailor Moon and Pure Cure and wishing that they could become magical girls too. Well, with Cure Infinity, they can see a boy transforming into someone like a magical girl, letting them know that their wish is to be just like the magical girls that they see on TV and look up to is not weird in any way. And I swear to God, Henry and Misato are in a relationship. Look at the way that they look at each other in the final episode time skip. Fucking fight me.
With both Kita Kita Precure a la mode and especially Hokuto Precure, the Precure franchise proves that it is at the forefront of queer representation in magical girl anime, using the influence of past magical girl anime to make a progressive future for young Japanese kids watching. In the end, what can I say about the magical girl genre and its queer elements? Well, like with almost anything, there are some good parts and some bad parts. Some queer characters have become outdated and some have stayed very timeless. Even different versions of a franchise like Cutie Honey can vary in queer representation depending on the version's interpretation of the original source material. And some franchises like Precure have evolved over time to have queer characters that will be influential in the future, just like the Magical Girl series of the past. Queer representation in the Magical Girl genre and the Magical Girl genre itself has changed greatly from its humble beginnings to its most recent uniqueness and creativity. From Princess Knight to the most recent Precure series, I believe that queer representation in the Magical Girl genre will continue to grow, and we'll see many different versions of these types of queer characters well into the future.